Andre Johnson was one of the greatest wide receivers to ever play in the NFL. His incredible athleticism, heartbreaking tragedy.
I get a phone call, and then you can hear his mom. So I'm like, hello? And she was like, Dre, he's dead.
An immense talent led him to becoming the Houston Texans' first Hall of Famer.
Andre Johnson, on behalf of the Pro Football Hall of Fame and every Hall of Famer that's ever played this game, we want to welcome you to football heaven. Welcome, bro.
From his early days as a parade All-American at high school to his national championship celebrations at college and record-breaking dominance in the NFL, Johnson's story is one of relentless success. But just how good was prime Andre Johnson? Hailing from Miami, Andre Johnson was raised by a single mother, Karen, after his father Leroy left before he was born. Andre only met him once for a few hours when he was 8 years old.
In the third grade. Came in from school and he says, Mom, I saw my dad today, you know. I was like, really? He said, yeah. So I said, well, what do you guys talk about? He said, well, he acted like he didn't know me, so I act like I didn't know him. And that was the end of that relationship.
The absence of a father figure played a significant role in his upbringing.
It just left a bad taste in my mouth. So I was just kind of like, well, if he don't want to deal with me, I don't, have to deal with him.
With Johnson vowing in more ways than one to ensure no child in his life ever suffers the same experience. Andre's first on-field action came at Miami Senior High School, where he was nothing short of remarkable. Johnson caught 31 passes for 908 yards and 15 touchdowns, showing off blazing speed to go along with his big frame. He quickly established himself as one of the nation's most exciting talents, earning recognition as a parade All-American and the third highest ranked receiver in the nation. His freakish athleticism meant that he also excelled as a kick and a punt returner, while also performing well as a track athlete and on the basketball court. His dazzling high school career laid the foundation for more excitement to come at the University of Miami. In 1999, Johnson joined one of the greatest college football programs of all time in Miami that was primed for a brief period of dominance. He redshirted his first year and was primarily used as a return specialist in his true freshman season. His first opportunity to show what he could do, though, arrived in 2001. And I mean, what a season it was for the Hurricanes. Andre Johnson was the leading receiver on the team with 682 yards and 10 touchdowns on just 37 receptions. With him making an imposing target downfield, and with Clinton Portis and Frank Gore dominating in the run game, the Miami Hurricanes earned an unbeaten 12-0 regular season record. I mean, they were absolutely manhandling everybody they played. I mean, that 2001 Miami Hurricanes team is a team unlike we've ever seen before. And with Johnson on the roster, people were filled with excitement to see what he could do next. But what he did in the postseason is what truly set him apart from the others. In the 2001 Rose Bowl, Andre Johnson erupted for 199 yards and 2 touchdowns on just 7 catches. It was his first opportunity to show what he could do on the big stage. And I mean, the guy did not disappoint. Johnson helped Miami land an incredible 34 points in the first half alone, winning them the game and a national championship as well. Johnson earned co-MVP honors alongside his quarterback Ken Dorsey, cementing his legacy as a Hurricanes legend after just 1 year in a starting role. While on the field, he was living a dream of being a national champion. But off the field, Johnson was about to receive some of the most tragic news anybody could ever hear.
I get a phone call, answer the phone, I'm like, what's up, man? And it was silent. And then you can hear his mom, so I'm like, hello? And she was like, Dre, he's dead.
You see, during the season, Andre was informed that his best friend, Krill Jones, had been shot and killed. He left behind a son of just 1.5 years old, and a couple weeks later, Johnson received a call from the boy's mother.
Cyril Jr.'s mother called.
Right.
Tell me about that phone call.
And she asked me would I be his godfather. I want little Cyril to grow up the same way I grew up without my father.
And from then on, Andre Johnson had a very important role in Cyril Jones Jr.'s life. He was always speaking to him on the phone when he could, visiting him during the holidays, and when he could too, he would even show him how to play football. I mean, he dedicated so much time to Cyril that he, even when he found out was getting in trouble at school, he drove down to the school and visited him so that way he could straighten him out.
Cyril got in trouble in school, and so I told his mom, I was like, let's just drive up to the school.
Everybody's being quiet. Cyril's the only one jumping up, running around the class.
I walked in the door. His eyes looked like, his eyes got big.
What'd you think when he walked into school?
I was in trouble.
Not having a father of his own to look up to, Johnson wanted to make sure that he was there for his best friend's son when he needed them. Back on the football field though, Johnson returned for his senior season with the Hurricanes, picking up right where he left off after an incredible Rose Bowl game. His 1,092 yards and 9 touchdowns on 52 receptions made him the second player in Hurricanes history to amass 1,000 receiving yards in a season. His 21 yards per reception led the nation, underscoring his dominance as a big play machine. I mean, Johnson was a mold of consistency throughout the year, averaging 94 yards per game, which alongside his total of 1,092 yards, both led the Big East. He was named a first-team All-Big East player and a third-team All-American, wrapping up his college career with the 5th most career receiving yards on the school's all-time leaderboard. Standing at 6'3" and 230 pounds as a wide receiver, Johnson was an unreal physical specimen at the position, with the speed needed to make him a very enticing prospect in the draft. Johnson ran a 4.4 in the 40-yard dash at his pro day, confirming his freak athlete status and pinning him as a top pick in the 2003 NFL Draft. His dreams to play in the NFL then became a reality as he was picked 3rd overall by the Houston Texans. And for the first time in his life, Johnson left Miami to call a new city home. At that point in time, Houston was a newly formed team with only 1 full season under their belt. And look, there wasn't going to be a championship anytime soon there, but that's what motivated Johnson because he knew he could build something there if he went there. And I mean, it took no time at all for Houston to realize they had used their 3rd overall pick wisely. Johnson picked up 76 yards in his first game of the season, 71 yards in week 2, and 102 yards and 2 touchdowns in week 3. It took him no time at all to adjust to life in the NFL, collecting 66 receptions for 976 yards and 4 touchdowns as a rookie. And with those numbers, it earned him a spot on the all-rookie team.
Being that size and be able to run like that, very, very impressive. But as a technique, physically could dominate a football game.
And look, I mean, when most wide receivers, even this year when we look at the 2024 draft, most of these guys dominate in college because of their just physical freakness that they have above all the other kids that they're playing in college. But once you get to the NFL, that advantage goes away. But for Andre Johnson, that didn't happen. I mean, immediately, he was a player who needed to be respected by defenses, offering a huge frame and incredible hands that allowed him to dominate cornerbacks. He improved as a sophomore to hit 1,000 yards for the first time in 2004, catching 79 balls for 1,142 yards and 6 touchdowns, resulting in his first Pro Bowl nod. Year 3, though, for Andre Johnson was marred by injuries and poor play by the Houston Texans. I mean, their 2-14 record suggested that things were heading in the wrong direction after their founding just 4 years earlier, consequently resulting in the head coach Dom Capers being shown the door as well. And coming in to replace him was Gary Kubiak, who had this really good game plan: get Andre Johnson the ball. In his first year under Gary Kubiak, Johnson saw 1 hunt to a career high 1 possible was clearly an avenue for success. Like, who would have thought throwing the 6'3", 230-pound freak the ball would result in more wins? Like, I mean, Johnson had the size to run over linebackers and the speed to burn past corners. You don't find that in many wide receivers. His size and ability to high point the ball meant that there were very few defensive backs who could challenge him at the catch point. And I mean, even if they could, Johnson's hands were among the best and strongest in the league. He was a contested catch machine who was also a menace with the ball in his hands. And I mean, if one play could sum up Johnson in a nutshell, it would be his catch against the Arizona Cardinals in 2009.
Schaub to throw. Pressure coming. Schaub unloads and complete to Johnson. Andre Johnson. Touchdown. Oh, what an individual effort by the Pro Bowler.
I mean, the dude was a monster. It was as simple as that. And the arrival of his new head coach is what really helped elevate Johnson to his elite status. He became the alpha of the Texans offense and clearly one of the most feared offensive playmakers in the whole of the NFL. I mean, between 2006 and 2013, Johnson surpassed the 1,000 yard mark 6 times, only falling short in 2 seasons in which he suffered a good amount of injuries. In 2006 and 2008, he led the league in receptions with 103 and 115 respectively. In 2008, he led the league in receiving with 1,575 yards, and in 2009, he became only the 3rd player to lead the league in receiving yards in consecutive years, as he posted another 1,569 yards and a career-high 9 touchdowns. Like, I mean, it is insane how Andre Johnson was dominating at an outrageous level, but at the same time, it was impossible to ignore how the Houston Texans, despite Johnson's dominance, could never improve. I mean, Johnson was delivering week in and week out at an elite level, but his career was being wasted on a franchise that only managed to secure their first winning season in 2009, which was Johnson's 7th year in the league. Finally, in 2011, after 9 years of battling on poor Texans teams, Houston made it to the playoffs. For the first time in franchise history and for the first time in his career, Andre Johnson would be featured in the playoffs. Despite missing a lot of the season due to injury, Johnson's return to the team in the later stages gave Houston a major boost, and they went on to hammer the Cincinnati Bengals by 31 points to 10. Johnson celebrated his first dose of playoff action by catching 5 of 9 targets for 90 yards and 1 touchdown. I mean, the atmosphere in Houston was unlike any other and completely electric as the city celebrated a historic day in franchise history. Unfortunately though, the playoff run ended 1 week later with a divisional round loss to the Baltimore Ravens. But Johnson once again showed his dominance by catching 8 balls for 111 yards. Motivated by the postseason run in 2011, the Texans returned as a team on a mission in 2012. They surpassed their previous best record of 10-6 by posting a 12-4 record that won them the AFC South for the 2nd consecutive year. And just when you thought the guy couldn't get any better, Johnson was in imperious form, setting a new career high with 1,598 yards on 112 receptions. His incredible season was highlighted by an insane 14-catch, 273-yard performance against Jacksonville, in which he took a screen to the house for a walk-off touchdown in overtime. Houston won 43-37, with Johnson proving to be the only difference between the two teams. For the 2nd year, the Texans defeated the Bengals in the wildcard round, only to be defeated in the divisional round, this time by the New England Patriots. And unfortunately, the team fell dramatically to a 2-14 record the following year, marking the end of their short spell of dominance. Johnson remained productive, posting over 1,400 yards that year, which he followed up with another 936 yards in his 12th and final year with the team in 2014.
Talking about somebody who through a 10-season period from 2004 and 2000 to 2013, as you said, led the NFL in receiving yards, 11,685. So he did it a long time with a lot of average to below average quarterbacks.
Across his career as a Houston Texan, Andre Johnson was a relentless performer in a statistical juggernaut, including the final 2 years of his career, which he spent with the Indianapolis Colts and Tennessee Titans. Johnson amassed 14,185 yards and 70 touchdowns. He set new franchise records in almost every receiving category possible, also earning 2 first-team All-Pro selections, 2 second-team All-Pro selections, and 7 Pro Bowls. His status as an NFL legend was then solidified when he was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2024, becoming the first Houston Texan player to do so. Andre Johnson's production on a poor Texans team was simply elite. His ability to produce for the team consistently for 12 years straight is a testament to his work ethic and immense. There's no doubt that he is a top 10 wide receiver of all time. But I want to know what you guys think. Where do you have Andre Johnson on on your all-time list. Personally, for me, he might even sneak into the top 5, but it's going to be close. But let me know down in the comment section below, and if you guys haven't, make sure you join our Discord where we are going to be talking a lot about the NFL draft in this upcoming season. And as always, I will catch you guys in the next one.